Hey all, welcome back to Red Lipstick Reality TV. I'm back, y'all. Episode 2 of Sister Wives. This episode was called Let There Be Light. As you see, I am in a different location. There is a slight echo. I am out of town for work. You guys know I travel for work. But I made sure to watch it on the plane, took notes on the plane, which shows you how serious I am about this. When I tell y'all, I had to pour myself a cocktail after this episode because why? Why, y'all? I am wearing the same red lipstick. It is an all-day wear, you guys. It's a moment. But excited to see you back. Thank you guys so much for coming back. It has been a slow burn. I think like with YouTube, it's crazy. How this algorithm works. If you are gone for a while and you come back, it takes a while to get people back on your channel and coming consistently. So that's why it's really important for me to make sure I am posting consistently as I get this started again, because I had so many people that loved coming and I want them to know I'm back and that I'm posting each week. So thanks all that have come back. For all my new subscribers, you guys, welcome. This is really chill. I am not looking to be some huge YouTuber. I just love talking about reality TV and in particular Sister Wives. I happen to be in Utah right now, of all places, but I love talking about it and I love the community that we've been able to build, small but mighty. Like the Red Lipstick Club to me is the greatest. Thank you guys all for still supporting me and just hanging out with me. I'm keeping it really chill with like a cell phone camera and we're just gonna have a good time. Hopefully I'll make you guys laugh a little bit. Hopefully I'll say some things you wanted to say and you'll feel like I was co-signing it for you and you'll feel like you're sitting down with your girlfriend watching the show. That's really what this is about. It's like for all of us that like this is our guilty pleasure and we watch it on our own and we're like, I need somebody to talk to about this show. Also, I just want to continue to give a shout out to Garrison. I don't remember at the beginning of this episode, y'all, if they actually showed again a little tribute to Garrison. So it seems like they just did that on the first episode just to let people know from the beginning, hey, this is when the time period is, because I don't remember that being on this one. They just did a preview of the last episode. So let's get it going. I broke it down by segments. Hopefully next week I've gotten kind of in my groove again. I'll start adding some clips in there of like my WTF moments because everybody loved the WTF moment. Great time. So I'm gonna start adding those back in again. But we're just getting rolling, you guys. Like this is like riding a bike again. Like I feel like I never did YouTube before. That's what I feel like. So I feel like that's probably why I need to drink too, because it's like so much going on. It's bourbon. It's bourbon. Okay, here we go. Episode 2. Let there be light. I don't know how much light was provided, but okay. So got my notes, y'all. I'm getting kind of fancy. It's a whole tablet now. I'm fancy. Okay, so segment 1, Janelle, Maddie. They're starting to look at property. So this sounds like something, y'all, they've been talking about for a while, that they wanted to get together, that they wanted to have a business, have property together. She wants to stay close with Maddie. And I don't know if I remember all the seasons that Janelle and Maddie were this close. I know that Maddie came to live with her when she was pregnant with Axel, but it seems definitely that those two have really become best friends, and that they're just really comfortable with each other. And I also, one thing about Janelle, I think what would make Janelle an easy mom to live with is Janelle really respects people's boundaries and treats people with a lot of respect, just in general. And I think she really respects her adult children as adults living their lives. And those types of parents can be really easy to live with into adulthood. It feels like you're living with a friend. It doesn't feel like you have a parent over your shoulder. They're still your parent and you still have that parental feeling. But more so, I think it shifts to, I want to help out my parent. I want to make it a little bit easier for my parent. I don't feel like my parents tell me what to do anymore. I feel like my parent is looking for an opportunity to connect with me as an adult and spend as much time with me as possible. But they're not trying to like rule my life or judge my life or tell me what to do. They respect me as an equal adult, you know? And I think as you get older, that's really important. I think that really helps to have a healthy relationship with your parents. When you feel like they are respecting you as an adult, you still look to them as a parent, right? Like you still want their advice for certain things, but it's because you asked for it, not because they're telling you, right? So they're looking for property. They were thinking about, if not in Utah, they wanted to stop and look at a property in Montana, which Montana is really beautiful. But I'm hearing that Montana is like not an inexpensive place to live anymore. Isn't Yellowstone there? The show Yellowstone? I don't know. I definitely could see Janelle loving the wide open space, living a more rural existence. I could totally see it. I will say one thing about this episode 2. Listen, y'all, Christine is nosy. Like, I knew she was nosy before, but she just seems extra nosy in this special, and she's all in Janelle's relationship. And I'm like, you've known Janelle for over 30 years. You know how her personality works. You know that she's not going to be running around talking about her relationship. She's never been that way. Why would you think all of a sudden now she would just be going out of her way to talk about if she was splitting with Cody? Unless that's something she brought up to you. Like, you shouldn't be asking her all these details. So she's just, I don't know. This whole episode, she was mildly getting on my nerves when it comes to Janelle and Janelle's relationship. This is finally, you guys, how long have we been waiting for these people to talk about the financial connections and ramifications of whether or not they pay this land off? We have all been saying, talk about the finances of this arrangement, because I think that's where a lot of the anger comes from the fan base, is that we're looking at this situation and it looks like Cody is a swindler and Robin is a swindler, and they have financially taken advantage of the other wives. That's what it looks like. And they're not being upfront about the finances. And it's really hard to tell the fan base that's been watching you for 19 years, oh, we're just not going to talk about this, when you've opened up about every other aspect of your life. And we're seeing plain as day that there is clearly a financial situation going on. There is a disparity. You guys have mentioned that you've poured money into each other so that each person can lift up. So you've lifted up each other. And now we're in a position where, because of Cody's decisions and selfishness, all of a sudden these first 3 wives walk away with like nothing. The smartest thing Christine, it's like Christine knew. She knew he was not honest. And the smartest thing she did was say, I'm going to buy a house. I don't care. If we build on Coyote Pass, fine, that's cute. Whenever we do that, okay. I'm not saying I'm not going to invest in the land, but what I am saying is I'm going to invest in something for me, for my estate. And that language of me and my estate, it did start popping up because Cody was clearly showing favoritism to Robin. His focus was on Robin. His loyalty was to Robin, and her safety and her security clearly had precedence over everyone else's. So the women were basically left out on their own, and they recognized that, and they quickly realized, if I don't get this together, I could walk away with not a penny to show for it. And I have had my life on TV for 12 plus years. And lots of money that came along with that. And that money invested in their homes in Vegas, of which he basically bamboozled them to sell because he knew what he was doing, y'all. This was his way. He made them sell those Vegas homes because it was a way for him to have financial control over these women to where they were basically trapped. That's what he was doing. So when Janelle talks to Maddie about the land, and Maddie gives her mom the side eye, like, girl, like, y'all haven't paid that land off yet? Or what is going on? Like, I don't think he's going to be fair. Maddie sees right through her father. And it is a sad realization when you see someone you love being manipulative like that and treating the other people you love terribly. I mean, that is really tough. And I'm sure this has not been easy for Maddie to watch how her father has just completely manipulated and taken advantage of her mom. Cody comes up this is why I need the drink, y'all. The audacity of Cody to say he's keeping information and secrets from Janelle because he doesn't trust her. How are you keeping information about property in which you own with somebody else? How are you keeping information from that person? Specifically financial information. When they have, as you know, their entire nest egg wrapped up in what is to come of this said property. The fact that he feels he has the power to do that, and the fact that Janelle allowed for him to be in a position to where he has this much control over her entire nest egg is, I know she feels stupid as hell. I know she feels stupid, y'all. And I feel bad for her because to trust somebody and then just to see him try to backstab her like this, the point is he doesn't have a plan. And I don't think he has a plan to pay it off either. And we'll talk about that later because they bring up some financial things. And I'm like, oh, well, this is probably why he doesn't have a plan to pay this off. Because he doesn't have the money to pay it off. And he definitely doesn't have enough money, I don't believe, for his name to be on so many properties and for Robin and him to have the largest piece. Why do they have the 4-acre property? Why do they have the 4-acre chunk of Coyote Pass? That's crazy to me. So you have that and the home? That was just interesting. Let's also talk about the equity in Cody and Robin's house. It's interesting to me that Robin gets on the camera and says, oh, well, this house was always meant to be something that we would all sell and would reap the benefits from. It was never just me and Cody. So the moment, Robin, that you heard Cody referring to that home as just something for you and him, you should have stepped in immediately and said, absolutely not, Cody. We will sell this home. We will split the profits of this home with the other wives because they all invested their money into this home for me. They deserve equity from it, and they also deserve to get their money back that they invested into it. Hello? I was like, is he crazy? Like, he's really lost it. His ego is like out of control. I also really loved in this moment, y'all, that Janelle brought up the fact that maybe what they would end up doing is her and Maddie would just buy Cody out of Coyote Pass, just buy it, and make sure that Mary got her piece of the pie. And she brings up how bad Cody has treated her for years and how she just thought that was unacceptable. And she did not want Mary to be hanging out to dry. I'm going to tell you right now. Cody constantly brings up how terrible of a sister wife Mary was. And I think as times progress now, and it doesn't mean that she wasn't, but he really put her in a terrible position. And I think as Janelle has gotten older and she's been on the other side of that too, and she's seen him put another woman ahead of her, questioned her loyalty compared to another woman, which I can guarantee you he was doing that to Mary. I think Janelle is seeing really clear as day just how manipulative Cody has been from the beginning, and how if she were in Mary's position, maybe she probably would have acted very similar to how Mary acted based off the circumstances. So I think she just has, not that she didn't have empathy before, but I think she just has a newfound level of empathy and respect for Mary, because she's like, this woman stuck to her values, stuck to her faith, despite Cody all but trying to completely kick her out of the family and alienating her to the point where any other person would not have been strong enough to survive that. And for Mary to still be coming out on the other side is phenomenal. And I also really had respect for Janelle when she called out the fact that they did not give Mary money for her to start that Airbnb, and then how Mary has started her own business with her own money. And despite that, that has nothing to do with the fact that Mary still earned her piece of land and her investment in this family, because Mary still invested in the family despite having a business. She managed that business and she invested in that family. So kudos to Janelle for that. I really love that. I was just really happy that they were finally talking about finances. And to me, it really just highlighted that Cody really is a scam artist. And I'm going to tell you right now, the smartest thing that Janelle can do at this point is I wouldn't even have any more conversations about it. I would just go ahead and lawyer up like she mentioned to Janelle and just leave it at that. Just get a lawyer. We don't need to have any more conversations. The fact that Robin's talking about, I'm confused as to why we owe people, or why the other wives think we owe them. I don't know why that would be confusing to you, Robin. Then she talks about how she's just so great with money. And that's why she has all this additional money to spend. Girl, the reason why is because Cody has been taking care of probably 90% of the bills at that home, which isn't a bad thing, but he's not managing 90% of the bills at the other ladies' homes. So those women have a significantly larger financial responsibility than you do. You cannot tell me that Robin, number one, was even bringing in a significant amount of money, because all she was making was money from the show. The other women were doing the show on top of other things. Like, they always were looking for an additional source of income. But two, it's just pretty clear to me that Cody was paying for the bulk of the bills at that home. Also, she's legal and married. So was she responsible for things like medical bills, like Christine was? Christine had to pay for Isabel's surgery out of pocket, and I think she had maybe a GoFundMe or something. Cody wasn't helping her with that. I didn't see Robin having to do that when Dalen had to get his surgery for his lazy eye from the accident. I'm pretty sure that Truly, I wouldn't be shocked if Truly still has health concerns that date back from when she had the kidney failure. Because now she has, what do they call it? Pre-existing conditions. I'm sure it's not cheap to take Truly. She's got 2 kids with pre-existing conditions over there. At minimum 2. I don't even know about the other kids. But under her roof at that time, you know, for the longest, she had Gwendolyn, Isabel, and she had Truly. She had all of them. He was of no help. So yeah, I'm Robin, girl, please. Also, too, when she tries to bring up, well, I spent my money this way. I don't know how they were spending their money. Girl, Janelle was the most responsible woman when it came to money. It was only her and Cody that were actually the real main breadwinners in that home when they lived in the Utah house. So she was having to rob Peter to pay Paul. I mean, she was really having to get creative when it came to the money. She did all the taxes. I bet you, I'd be curious to know what's going on with the taxes. I want to know when is the last time that Janelle was responsible for all the family's taxes, including Robin's. I'm curious as to if they're still doing it. And if they're not, if she no longer was doing it, when did that stop? Did it stop when they moved to Flagstaff? When he was able to get all their money together and basically hold them hostage with the money and be manipulative? That would be interesting. Because it's giving Cody was being manipulative when it comes to the money. So if you guys know, put in the comments below if you know if Janelle stopped doing the taxes for the family. I'd be curious. Then Cody says he basically just doesn't talk to the family because it's all gossip. Everything they're saying is gossip. He doesn't talk to Maddie because it's only about gossip. If you think that Maddie is going to have a conversation with you, she's seeing how you're treating your mom, she's seeing the mess that's going on. If you think, as one of the oldest daughters, that she's not going to be asking you some questions about what's going on with her family, because it went from being a very functioning one to an incredibly dysfunctional one, you would be insane. I'm sorry, but I'm asking about what's going on with my mom. Is my mom okay? What's happening? Why are my siblings not stressed out? Why aren't you seeing what's going on with you? Because especially too, if I had a really close relationship with my dad, which we all saw, Maddie she was like the favorite for a long time. It was pretty obvious that Maddie was the favorite, which is why I think that's why Mykelti holds on so tight to this relationship to Robin and Cody, because finally now she feels like she's the favorite, because it was pretty clear for the longest that it was Maddie and Caleb, and Cody didn't really care for, what's Mykelti's husband name? Whoever Mykelti's husband, I don't like the dude, so he gets on my nerves, but Mykelti's husband, you could tell that, Tony, you could tell that Cody really didn't care for him, right? Like almost didn't think he was good enough. And I think he kind of looked down a little bit on Mykelti too. Like, you're really not accomplished, you're really not doing what I need you to do. Maddie was the golden child. Married this good old boy, you know, starting a family, blah, blah. So that's interesting. All right, so long story short, y'all, they went out, they looked at the land, realized 40-minute drive to schools was just not feasible for Maddie with 3 kids. Again, we have Robin living in Fantasyland, talking about she's not letting go of Janelle. And I'm like, Robin, Janelle is gone. She's not coming back. None of these women are coming back. You should have thought about that before you allowed for this man to alienate his wives. It's too late now. They're not coming back. The dream, the fantasy is over. I love in this section, Christine, because this is the time I thought Christine was really right, where she basically tells them, hey, Cody, you have obviously a terrible relationship with your kids, but that doesn't mean that you can't fix this relationship. It doesn't mean that you can't make amends, get things right with your kids, get things back on track, but you have to make the effort, because you're the one that burned the bridge. You're the one that destroyed the boundaries, that made them all lose trust and faith in you. It's you. But because you don't think you've done anything wrong, you can't take accountability for anything. You don't bother to ask your kids why do they feel the way they feel. You don't bother to ask your kids why they no longer want a relationship with them, with you, because then it would make it so that you would have to be accountable for your decisions and your actions, and you don't want to be. You don't want to hear them tell you that you neglected their parents, their moms, or destroyed the family, or played favorites. You don't want to hear that, because then you have to take responsibility for that. And you don't want to do that. So I don't know if he'll ever be able to truly heal his relationships with his children until he's able to take responsibility. And now we've all seen he doesn't even have a relationship with Mykelti and Tony anymore. And they were the ones trying to give him all the passes. So that's it. So I don't know how you fix that. Christine, in this moment, this is another moment where I was like, Christine, you're being nosy. Stop being so nosy. And she's basically like, I need to know how I'm supposed to support Janelle. Like, what am I supposed to say? How am I supposed to push this along? And for me, in this moment, I'm like, Christine, you don't need to support anything. You just need to be quiet. You need to just be a listening ear for Janelle. Be a friend to her right now, and that's it. She doesn't need you to push her along, egg her along. Janelle will make the decision on her time and her way. And I think the biggest thing that I'm noticing about this is that Christine no longer believes in the faith, but Janelle does. Same for Mary. So for the two women that still believe in the faith, saying something like divorce, breaking off their relationship, their marriage, is significantly harder for them because they still believe in the faith. So it's like almost like, oh, am I damning myself to hell if I do this? It's just a different situation for them than it is for Christine. Christine is like, I don't believe in it anymore. So I think once she released herself from the religious part of it, it does make it significantly easier for you to just say, I'm divorced. I don't need to go talk to anybody. I don't believe in that mess anyway. That's not the same for Janelle. That's not the same for Mary. So I hope Christine remembers that. It's like your situation. And at the end of the show, she, you do see her kind of come full circle and be like, okay, I get where Janelle's coming from. But it takes her a long damn time to get there. They do a quick little thing about McKelty and Robin and that relationship. I don't care anymore. I did think was one part was funny when they were having the family dinner because Isabel was back and Peyton comes. He tells the family, well, I casually walked into a bar. It just ended up being a gentleman's club. And now I got a job as a bouncer. And I just, I don't think any mom is like jumping for joy when her kid says, hey, I got a job at a strip club. But I loved that this family had so much joy and was just so free-spirited about it and was just like asking him dumb questions and I don't know, just felt like a lot of love in the room. And I like how Christine was like, yeah, this isn't exactly what my ideal choice would be, but I still love my kids, support my kids. Let's move on. So I just thought that was a fun, lighthearted moment. It actually reminded me a lot of some of the early seasons when we just really loved the family and we just love to see them interact and have joyful moments. And it's funny, people don't realize, like, yeah, the show is popular now and they have a lot of drama and stuff, but most of us were tuning in for years just watching this family interact in happy moments and seeing them do family things. And that's what we loved about this show. We didn't tune into this show because we wanted drama. We tuned into this show because we loved seeing this big family and how they interacted. But once the kids left and then all of the cracks in the facade started showing, well, then it turned into a drama-filled reality show. Not to say that I'm not interested, because we watch it, but I will say I do miss the joy, of the older episodes. Okay, well, moving on, y'all. Segment 3, Christine drives all the way, y'all, to Flagstaff to see Janelle, to gossip. She took this huge drive to gossip, y'all. She is so nosy, and she has no shame, but I will say she's basically asking her all the questions we want to know. So I can't be that mad at Christine because I'm nosy too, I guess, and I do want to know. But while I'm watching it, I'm cringing because I'm like, oh my God, Christine, are you really asking her this stuff? What I did recognize though in this moment is Janelle talks about how Cody would want to live in the big city and have the flashy car, and she's always been like a girl that wanted to live in the country and have a little farm. And I'm like, y'all two were never compatible. Like when you got married, did you talk through these things? It just feels like you're like, okay, well, he's attractive. I want to live polygamy, plural marriage. So I'm just going to marry him because he's an okay guy. But I'm like, y'all didn't have nothing in common. It would have made way more sense for her to marry somebody like Brady from My 5 Wives, because I feel like he would be way more into the rural lifestyle and doing things like that. And he can build things and he has a contracting company. I just feel like that type of guy, he would have been a way better fit for her. So I don't know how she ended up with Cody. I'm like, why? Of all the people? They did talk about, too, how the property, and they were saying, who they thought would or would not be able to live on that property. And Janelle says that she, maybe she could do it, but then with Cody and Robin, they're not really. And then Cody says he doesn't think that Mary could be on the property. And I'm thinking myself, to be honest, I think Janelle and Mary could be on the same property because they both mind their own business. And I think those two have kind of gotten to a place in their relationship where it's like, yeah, we don't really talk, but that's okay. It's not going to make it uncomfortable on this property. Mary's out doing her thing. Janelle's out doing her thing. If I see you, hey, but we're far enough apart on the property to where it wouldn't be a big deal. They respect each other enough. I just don't think Mary and Janelle would have a problem doing that, to be honest. I think they'd be great for that. Janelle also brings up getting a lawyer to deal with the financial part, the business part. Thank you, Janelle. Please get that lawyer. I also talk about Christine pushing Janelle to say it's over. Janelle does not need to do that. Janelle does not want to do that. Let Janelle do things the way she wants to do them. I love, too, how Mary then jumps in and calls out Cody and saying, you're mad at Janelle for how she's communicating with you, and you did the exact same thing to me. Pot, meet, kettle, right? And I'm really liking that example that we're seeing, because eventually we're going to get the reunion, and they're going to look back at these episodes. And I really want, I forget her name, that does the interviews. She gets on my nerves. I want somebody different. But anywho, I want them to really challenge Cody with that. Like, Cody, you did the exact same thing. You've taken no accountability for that. This is another thing too where Janelle talks about like believing in her faith, and that's just something I pointed out where I think this is just harder for Janelle and Mary because they still believe in the faith. And I think this would have been a lot faster and easier for both of them if they no longer believed in the faith. Honestly, they probably would have left a lot sooner too. And I also think it doesn't help that Cody doesn't really believe. Like Robin does, but y'all, Cody does not believe in this mess no more. He doesn't. Otherwise, he would not have treated these women this way. He would have done everything he could to keep them as wives. He would not have driven, especially somebody like Mary, who you know isn't going anywhere. For him to drive her away the way he did, he does not believe, y'all. He does not. He basically says, oh, you know what I love too? So you guys remember the conversation he had where they were on the porch and he said, or not the porch, but maybe the backyard, and Christine says she's leaving. And this man talks about, I'm going to return things to patriarchy. I'm going to take back my family or whatever the case may be. And everyone's looking around like, what? Like Janelle's like, what? Patriarchy? She's like, I don't want to live like that. That was not our arrangement. That's never how we were set up. And Cody says obedience and patriarchy, he never intended it to be that way. And I'll be frank with you, prior to the red pill movement that I know that he probably is a part of now, I don't believe it was. I do not believe that Cody was patriarchal and wanted his wife to be obedient. I think once he got Robin, I think Robin stroked his ego and he was in midlife crisis. And in that, he then connected with red pill men who got him into that movement. And this is the result of that. And so he says that he spoke that because he was mad at the moment. No, it's because you have been manipulated by red pill content and the people that are part of that. And I know he has some siblings and some brothers that are a part of that too. So I'm sure they had something to do with that. All right, y'all, moving on. Segment 4. Mary apparently goes to the church leaders to get her release. It is a big step for Mary. I'm really proud of her for doing that because I know it wasn't easy and I know it's not something that she wanted to do, but it was very necessary. And I just cannot wait to see her on camera a year plus removed from Cody. I just think she's going to just flourish. It's going to be phenomenal for her. Cody just goes on another rampage and puts all the baggage of his marriage with Mary on Mary. Everything was Mary's fault. All the failures of that marriage were Mary's fault. I've never seen somebody take so little responsibility and accountability for something that they played a 50-50 part in. I mean, the gaslighting is unreal. I don't know how Mary survived, y'all. And honestly, too, for him, if the relationship with Mary was that bad at the beginning, why would you think bringing in an additional wife like Janelle would be better? So now you're putting her in a position where she feels jealousy, where she's already stressed and concerned and worried because she also can't have a baby yet. She was struggling with fertility. So you would think bringing in another woman and then another woman, that was supposed to make things better. That's just going to make her more resentful. Y'all had no business going into polygamy. Full stop. Y'all had no business. He just puts all the blame on his wives. He says, oh, I'm not going to play the victim card, and then immediately proceeds to speak about himself as if he's a victim. He only speaks highly of Robin. He only has positive things to say about Robin. He keeps speaking of loyalty. Janelle was the most loyal wife I've ever seen, to the almost to a detriment, and also to a point where she almost probably lost her relationships with her children because she was trying to be loyal to Cody. And at some point, she just seemed to realize, my kids need me. I cannot abandon my children. And you know what? I also can't tell my kids that they aren't seeing what they're seeing. Because if she would have done that, she was basically telling her kids that everything that they were seeing was a complete lie. She had gaslit her kids and basically pretended that none of this stuff was happening. Her kids were mad because her kids saw how she was being treated and how they were being treated. And they had had enough. So cut with the loyalty thing. That's gross. It's like really, when I hear it come out of his mouth, it honestly makes me sick to my stomach. He acts like he had all these women were just out having full-blown affairs and relationships. And Mary had the closest. She had her little emotional affair, but you had alienated the woman for years. You hadn't even treated her like a wife for years. What do you expect with her? Ugh, made me sick, y'all. Tell me what you would have done if you would have had a husband that alienated you the way Cody had done Mary. Do you think you would have just been sitting around not having any conversations or any connection to anybody else? Or do you think you would have been probably would have succumbed to at least an emotional affair? I feel like many women at minimum more than likely would have at least had an emotional affair. To have no emotional connection to a man you're watching that you love, and then watching him have that emotional connection with everybody else around you, and you're just supposed to watch it happen? No, I don't think so. Last segment, y'all, segment 5, they talked about having Thanksgiving at Logan's house. I remember seeing those photos, and it looked like a lot of fun. Almost everybody was there, except for Maddie. I know Maddie couldn't make it to that. Cody talks about how Janelle likes to just sweep things under the rug. And I feel like I said something about that with Janelle. I want to say I said it in the last episode I reviewed, that Janelle tends to just sweep things under the rug, right? And I hope as she gets out of this marriage with Cody that she just gets a lot more honest and real about things and doesn't just blow things off, because it does impact your children too. When you act like some things are not a big deal, just because they're not a big deal to you doesn't mean they are not a big deal to other people. And you just kind of brushing those things under the carpet is really dismissive. And in fact, it can feel like disrespect. And thinking about who Janelle is as a person, I don't think she wants to disrespect people, at least not purposefully. So I'm hoping that's something that she works on personally. It's not just sweeping things under the carpet. I need a drink before this next section. Y'all, they brought Aurora back on this show. They brought Robin's kids back on this show to speak in meek and mild tones to make themselves look more vulnerable, to make them look more innocent, and to make everybody else in this family look like attack dogs. They bring back up the whole text stream that happened surrounding the gift exchange between the kids and how that split the family apart, and it was Robin and Cody and her kids on one side, everybody else on the other side, and it's never been the same since. Robin tries to kind of dust away, say, oh, my kids just wanted to put up a boundary. They just needed a break. Number one, when you're blending a family, it's never easy. And I will say that everybody played their part in this situation not working out the way it should have. And of course, the parents, in my opinion, they own 100% of that blame. Robin, though, specifically bringing your kids into this situation and continuing to feed the narrative that they're not part of the family is just so unhealthy. The whole situation's very unhealthy. I want you guys to tell me in the comments, who do you think told Aurora she was not accepted? And now when I think back, I don't think it was any of the girls, or I don't think that it was child. What's Mary's child's name? Mary's child. I don't think it was them. I think maybe it might have been one of the boys. I could see maybe Peyton saying something like that, or Garrison maybe at one point, or Gabe. I don't know. I could maybe see that. I think those young men were really triggered by how their mom was being treated, and also they were really young when that family came in, and so they went from having their dad around all the time to their dad really neglecting them when it came to how his time was divvied up. And I could just see, maybe even Gwendolyn, maybe when she was younger. I don't know, I could maybe see Gwendolyn doing it too, just because she don't care. Now as an adult, she's like, you're my siblings, like I'm an adult now. But I just feel like Aurora she's delayed. To me, she's socially delayed. And I feel like I would not be shocked, y'all, if she was told this at like 12 or 13 years old. And she's like, what, 20 now? Get therapy, like, at this point. Like, y'all were kids, you were thrown into a mess. Your parents were not handling it right. Who told you this? Because I guarantee you it wasn't the parents that told you, which means it was one of the siblings. So if the siblings told you that, at this point, give each other some grace and move on. Talk to the sibling, get some therapy, and move on. You don't get to play the victim for the rest of your life over this. It's like, at what point is this, are we gonna move forward? So tell me, y'all, who do you think told Aurora she was not accepted? Tell me that in the comments. My next question, tell me, who do you think Cody is referencing as superior in this episode? He mentions that there are some of the kids or people, he didn't say the kids, some of the family members that think that they are superior to others. Who do y'all think Cody's talking about? Last question, the arrangement of polygamy, could you do it? Janelle brings up that she could probably do it again. She actually liked the freedom it gave her. I'll tell y'all something kind of crazy. You're not gonna believe this, but recently I was propositioned to join the couple as a second wife. We have one young baby, one kid together, and I was propositioned for that. I don't know if that's like a movement now. I will tell you, you would think after reviewing this show, I would immediately be like, what? But I think I don't know if it's flattery. It's a little flattery, like, oh, that's interesting that you two would look at me and think that's somebody we would want to have a family with and be part of our family. I thought that was kind of interesting and a little flattering, right? But also I'm thinking, what about me, other than the fact that I review Sister Wives, but what about me says, she looks like somebody that wants to be a polygamist. Now, I will say this, when I look at how, if you had the right partner, the right husband, and how the structure of it works, where you really do have more freedom. As I get older, I really do value my time alone, my freedom. I do travel a lot for work. So, a husband has needs and wants and time. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I have it all to give it to you. I also think about even like my bed in my bedroom. I like sleeping by myself. I don't want to sleep with somebody every single night. So I wouldn't be shocked even if I was married that I have my own room. So it's kind of like, is it that different to have a polygamous situation, especially if you're not really a jealous woman, and then you're dealing with a guy that seems to be handling, business and taking care of everybody's needs? I don't know. I'm not saying I'm totally knocking the idea, but I could see why Janelle would still be interested, because we have some similarities when it comes to the independence portion of life, and I could see why she would be interested in polygamy for those reasons. It's some of the very reasons that I look at it and see. I could see why that's attractive to people. But you guys tell me, could you do it? Could you be in a polygamous relationship? And don't use Cody as your barometer. Maybe more so look at a Brody, or look at a guy that maybe your own husband. Do you think maybe your own husband could do it? I don't know. Let me know. At the end of this episode, y'all, Christine basically says she gets it. I like that she said that. It was a great way to end the episode, saying that she finally gets why Janelle is in the space that she's in with her relationship with Cody. And frankly, just continue to mind your business, Christine. I love you, girl, but mind your business. Y'all, that's it. That episode was pretty good, actually. I feel like it went pretty quick. Really great conversations were had in that. Obviously, are we learning something different? No, we're not. We're not learning anything different. But I do like that the show now seems to be having a lot of the conversations that I feel like was missing from the show, because there was so much like anger and strife and arguing happening, that the conversations and the information we really wanted to know as people that had been watching the show for years was not happening, because there was so much other mess going on. And now that I feel like the smoke is cleared a little bit, we're starting to have the real conversations, specifically the conversations surrounding money and also faith. And now I feel like we have a significantly clearer picture of where each person lies right now, and also financially what they're going to be facing and how messy this could potentially get. I don't know, y'all. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to be here each week. I will be dropping my episodes on Tuesdays and not Mondays because I stream through Max and they are being a pain. Thank you, TLC. And they're not streaming until Mondays for Max streamers. I don't know why they're doing that. And I'm not paying any extra money that I already pay for streaming. So I just feel like this spreads out your content throughout the week. So you can watch a couple people on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Shout out to all my other sister wife creators that are out there making phenomenal content. You guys, I love watching your stuff too. Hope you enjoy my stuff. It's great to see it, different perspectives. I like to do my video first and then go watch because I don't want it messing up my judgment or clouding what I'm doing. I like to just do what I'm talk about what I want to talk about. But yeah, that's it, you guys. If you haven't hit subscribe, hey, hit subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing to do it, but it does really show some support for me and it really helps me to build my channel. It also helps me to just spread out my content to other people that are interested in stuff that you're interested in. Also hit the like button. It really shows that you like the content that I'm doing and I can hopefully continue to push out some more content for you guys. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.